What I'm going to show you now is my version of the Hinge rig, which is my favourite pop-up rig, which I use for pretty much all my pop-up fishing. I've got a coated braid, loop-to-looped onto a swivel. I've got a Combi-Knot underneath a bit of putty, which counterbalances the pop-up. Bit of stiff monofilament, which is knotless knotted, onto a size 6 atomic chodder, and then tag ends just poke back through the eye and blobbed, which gives the hook bait plenty of free movement. The hook bait is one of the new Mainline CELL Pink and White pop-ups. And what I really like about this rig is that the carp find it very hard to deal with because of the stiff section, and it's also very versatile in that I can set it as the pop-up as high or as low as I like. So as you can see here, I've got exactly the same rig, but it's tied very short, probably about 3/4 of an inch off the deck. So what I'll do now is show you how to tie one. Okay, then let's put one of these rigs together. I'll start off 6-7 inches of chod wire, which I'll cut at an angle to give it a little point that makes it easier to pop through the eye of the hook 3 times. Pop the material through from the front of the eye, exit in the back, and do a simple 6-turn knotless knot. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back through the eye to exit at the front. Moisten it down before putting it tight to give it some lubrication. And that's the hook attached to the stiff nylon material. Next thing is a rig ring. Pop that on there. I like to use quite a decent sized rig ring. That's a 3.7mm to give the hook bait a fair bit of movement. And then I'm just going to pop the tag end with the rig ring on it back through the eye to form a D. I like to have a decent sized D, again to provide lots of movement. I'll trim that off. Then with the lighter, I'll just carefully blob the end, making sure I don't burn the hook link, just to prevent the tag end pulling back through, and that forms our D. So that's the stiff section of the hook link done. Now I need to attach a jelly wire boom. So we decide how high I want the pop up. I'm going to go for about there. I make a proper fold in the stiff material. Take a section of jelly wire and peel off about 3 inches, and that's going to enable us to tie the knot, and it's going to form the supple part of the hinge. That has to just go through the fold that you've made, and I put it right up to where the coating starts, and then do 9 turns around both pieces of the stiff material. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'll pop the tag end straight back through the loop the same way as the whole thing's gone through. Moisten the knot down, and when you pull this tight you need to pull on the short end first, otherwise you end up with a great big long supple section, which we don't want. Then I can pull on the jelly wire section and just nestle the knot down. I need to trim the tag ends off, leaving about 5mm on the jelly wire, and the chod wire section I'll trim really close. The jelly wire bit can be blobbed with a lighter just to make sure that no slippage can occur. There we go, there's a lovely neat little Combi-Knot. Now over the top of that I'm going to put some putty to counterbalance the pop up, and the knot actually gives you something for your putty to grip onto. Soften that in your fingers for a little bit. And wrap it around the knot. The other end of the jelly wire, I always like to use a large loop knot, figure of 8 loop. Two reasons for that really. One, it enables me to change the hook length really quickly and easily without breaking down the rig. And two, it gives you a slightly stiffer section because you've got a doubled up bit, which helps to prevent tangles. So I'll put a figure of 8 loop knot on there. Which is then going to be loop to loop to the swivel. Moisten that one down as well. And trim it off. And take a swivel. I generally use this on a helicopter rig, so we use a ring swivel for this. And then loop to loop it on through the eye of the swivel. I've gone through the small eye of the swivel so that the large eye can run up and down a lead core or tubing, whichever. So the last piece of tying the rig is to tie a pop-up on. So the pop-ups I'm using are the new CELL Pink and White Fluro pop-ups, which is really handy for me because I used to make all my own pop-ups and now I don't need to because I love a fluoro hook bait over the top of my food baits. I just like it to stand out a little bit more. I find they get taken earlier. I'm going to tie it on with dental floss. The reason I tie my hook baits on is to prevent so much water ingress. So I'll take about 6 inches of dental floss, double it over and just tie a simple overhand loop. So make a loop and pop the end through like that. I need to pull it down roughly to the size of the pop-up. There's a 14mm. And then pop the hook bait through the loop, which should be quite loose. It's really important to make sure that your dental floss sits central on the hook bait. Otherwise you'll end up with it flying off when you cast out. So get it nice and central and then just pull down on the 2 tag ends. Now that knot doesn't slip at all, so you should find that your hook baits never pull off. There's a little bit of give in these hook baits, which is nice because your floss can grip into them. It actually cuts in a little bit without breaking the coating. So to tie it on to the ring, I'll take one end of the dental floss, pop it through the ring. Make sure it hasn't gone through your D as well, so you won't have any movement on it. And then pull the 2 ends up tight together. And then I'll just do exactly the same knot again, which is the single overhand loop. Like so. Pull it up tight and then pull down on the 2 ends. And then all we need to do is trim it. When you're pulling it down like that, it's important not to snatch it and pull it too fast because you can end up breaking your dental floss. So I'll trim it off, leaving about 3mm. Just enough to give it a blob to make sure that the knot can't slip and go anywhere. Just carefully blob the ends, making sure that I don't burn the rig. And then we go. There's one pop-up rig ready to go.